Hello, butterflies. Thank you for joining us on Butterfly Tea Time Tuesday. I hope you have your tea and your coffee ready. Today, we're here with author Tralise Dennis to share her story and her journey with lupus and just learning to walk again and writing this amazing book. So, how is everyone doing today? How are you feeling?
Okay.
We're good. We're good. We are live. We're moving and
Yeah.
shaking. We're moving and shaking. We're grateful for another day.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I really wanted to highlight Tralise Dennis this week.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
a very, very good friend of mine. And one of the things that inspire me the most about her is how she was able to not only raise a son while learning to walk again, but she actually wrote her first book about battling lupus, which is available on Amazon now, through her journey and like from
Through
her,
her journey.
not from her hospital bed, but from her bed after the hospital, to be specific. So very, very inspiring.
Mm. Ooh, I know that was hard. I know that was tough, Trelise.
Yes, it was tough, but it did relieve some of my stress. So once you let it go, it seemed like on paper, once you let it go, you can't grab it back.
Yes, healing.
So that was my goal when I wrote the book, that to let it go and
Mm.
grab it back.
Yes.
That was one thing. When you put it on paper, I sent it out and it's to the world now, so I can't grab that stuff back. I let
Yes,
it go in the
ma'am.
book. Yeah.
You didn't need it no way.
Yeah. I
You
didn't
didn't need it. You
like
didn't need it. That was for us. That
yeah
was for the world to help somebody else.
to help somebody else. Yep. That's
What
what it was.
an amazing way to think about that. And I've been getting very involved in reading poetry live lately every Wednesday. And there's
Right?
healing in that. There's so much healing
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
word.
it is.
It can reach people across the globe, but I never thought about the fact that once you write it down, you can't grab back onto it again. In fact, someone else grabs onto it.
That's
I
powerful. That's
that's
powerful.
that's the
That
way I let it go. Yep.
That'll make you work harder, wouldn't it? That'll
Yeah,
make that'll make your whole perception different.
different.
Have a
That
whole different
it, once you put it on paper and put it out there, you can't grab it back.
mm.
wow, but
Ooh, I love that, Trelise.
Thank you.
I'm gonna write that down and steal it.
seriously,
My
and
book.
think about it,
And put Trelise at the bottom.
but someone else in the universe grabbed onto your thought.
Yes.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that so much. So
How long did
Trelise,
it take you to
I
write?
know the story, but I would just like you to share with everyone your diagnosis with lupus and what age you were, where you were living, and what that kind of looked like, and just kind of bring us through your story.
Mm.
Okay. Yes, my story started when I was in the sixth grade. I started with like a stomach ache and joint pain, but going to doctors when I was that age did not understand what lupus was. So I went from sixth grade from getting like a stomach pill and like a pain pill. And lupus was getting worse and worse after the years and everything. But you take a Tylenol or something, you keep pushing. So when I got to the 12th grade, lupus did a mighty turn on my body. It,
Mm.
it did my skin. It took over my joints. It took over everything. And so my mom did not give up. She kept going to doctors and doctors with me till we finally found the rheumatologist that looked at me and he said, "I think your daughter have lupus." And my mom was like, "What is lupus?"
Mm.
So we researched it and we found one person that was in my family that had got diagnosed years ago. So she gave us a little info on it. But then a year later, she died. I was
Oh
so
no.
yes. So I was so upset because I was here by myself with lupus because I
Yeah.
didn't have anybody else to call.
Mm.
So I got sicker and sicker. They put me in the hospital when I was like, before I got ready for the 12th grade. I spent most of my time 12th grade in the hospital. They finally found it out. By the time they found it out, I had to go to ICU. I was that ill. And so he gave me different medicine. They tested me while I was there. I stayed there so long. And when I got out, I felt better. So I started living my life. I went on, I took my medicines every day, and lupus did not bother me. I was okay for years. Then when I had my son, that's when all trouble started again. That was the turn of my life with lupus, having a child. So I could not get back to myself after having my son. I was in so much pain every day. I was sick, throwing up, eyesight going in and out. I just had a headaches. I just had everything after my son. And when I went to the doctor, that's what he told me. He said that's the reason why I always tell my patients it's best for them not to have kids. And I was, yeah, you're right. But when I went to the doctor when I was like 17, they said that I was gonna have a problem with having kids. And so that's the reason why I was I was saying like, I was okay because he had told me I probably couldn't have, because by me being sick and my ovaries and everything being tested and they give me the wrong medicines all the time when I was going, they had messed up my inside. So yeah, they had gave me so much medicine thinking I had so many different things. So so my gynecologist was telling me that, you might have a problem having kids. So I didn't, like I tell everybody, I'd be honest, I wasn't protecting myself because they had told me that.
Yeah.
So then when I got pregnant, that's when all the problems really, really started. So I had stress, anxiety, I had everything after my son. So as growing up and having a husband, trying to take care of your household, trying to work, all that became a toll on my whole body.
Yeah.
So years and years went on and went on, and I was taking more and more prednisone because I was so sick. You swell, you
Yeah.
think you can't. So they was upping my dose, and they weren't telling me upping my dose was gonna hurt my bones.
They
Yeah.
sure don't.
Yes, when
They leave it quiet, don't they?
no, they did not tell me that the higher doses I'm getting on steroids, the more my bones was going.
Yeah. It does.
So once my bones started messing up and aching, I went to the doctor, a orthopedic doctor, and he took X-rays and stuff, and he said, "Ma'am, you in so much pain because both of your hips gone."
Oh no.
Oh.
My hips gone. And he showed me on the screen that, how they supposed to be connected, they weren't connected, they was falling down. And he said that's the reason why you kept saying your knees and my knees. So every time I went to the doctor, they'll give me some for knee pain, because I didn't understand why my knees was hurting so bad. My hips wasn't hurting. It was
Wow.
the reason why my knees was hurting so bad because my hip had fell down on my knees, and so they were putting all the pressure on your knees to keep walking. So I was in so much pain, hip pain. That was the worst pain I ever felt. So I went in for my first surgery in November of 2019. That surgery went excellent. I had my left done first because that was the one that was in the most pain. And I was going to come back for my right because my right side was the strong side. So I said, I'll come back. So I did so good in March of 2020. I went on and did my right hip. And then my right hip got infected in May. And so I went back to the doctor. They took me back and, cleaned it out and stitched me back up. So I was fine. And then I went to rehab after that surgery. The first surgery, I stayed home. So the second surgery, he said, since I had been cut twice, he wanted me to learn everything over. So he sent me to rehab. And once I went to rehab, the nurse there did not read my orders correctly. She took my staples out, and I was not ready for the staples to be removed. So by the next morning, when she removed my staples, I was in so much pain. I was praying and crying. My sister and they had to put them out because they were screaming like, I don't think this is normal. And so the next day, my wound was wide open.
Did she
So
get fired? Did she get fired?
Yeah, no
What
kidding.
happened to her?
they said she did, but I don't even know.
You
I
didn't.
I
Mm-mm.
contact them and everything. They gave me my information
Mm-mm.
off a CD that they covered up everything she did. So that's a whole nother story for
Wow.
another day, probably, because that was like a lawsuit that didn't
I'm
happen.
like, what? That's what I was going to ask you.
Yes, they on their records that I have, and my lawyer and all of them have, that they smoothed it out so well
To
that
cover it up.
thank you, that you wouldn't even believe what happened. And then he couldn't find no doctors to testify.
Oh.
So they had already got themselves, in Tennessee. They had reached all the way to Tennessee and told them not to speak out on it. And what so people do, I seen that firsthand. People do, doctors, they do stick together.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
like
Absolutely.
nobody to testify that they took my papers out early, and that's the reason why I got infection. So when they rushed me to the ER, that's when I got there, and I was conscious. I was talking and everything. And then the next morning they couldn't even revive me. I had my sister and them said when they got there, all the nurse could tell them that they tried to wake me up and they couldn't. So that's when they started doing emergency surgery and all that different stuff. And they said they put me on a lot of meds to try to keep me stable and different stuff. But they couldn't wake me up. So that's the reason why they want someone to sign, because they wanted to get my body from them into somewhere else. And so Birmingham was full, Atlanta was full. The
Okay.
next place I had to go was Tennessee. So they sent me to Tennessee, and Tennessee worked on me and worked on me till they got me back. And so that's where I woke up at in Tennessee, couldn't move. Only thing I can do was talk and move my head. The rest of my body would not move. And they really didn't understand, and I didn't either. So they did a whole lot of different tests or whatever, but they just said that the muscles were so weakened that I wasn't using them for so long, and I was gonna come back to myself. So that's all I had was that. And so they kept doing infection medicine. I took a whole lot of medicine and different stuff. I stayed in Tennessee at least probably about, I stayed there from June to September. And then in September, they sent me to a facility that just gave antibiotics. They gave me antibiotics for 21 days to see if they can get all the infection gone and everything, if I can receive a hip again, because I didn't have a left hip. I just had a rod in my leg. So once I got in September, everything was going well. So they gave me the 21 days. So they sent me to a nursing home in Birmingham. I chose Birmingham because no one in Montgomery had a facility that I needed at that time. All the stuff that they had wrote down that I needed was in Birmingham. So I went to Birmingham. It was one good thing. My oldest brother was there. So he helped me a lot, him and his wife.
Okay.
And when I got to Birmingham nursing home, that's where they taught me how to eat again. I had a physical therapy that she taught me how to use my hands and stuff and eat again. And they helped me with my walking. But I still couldn't make steps on my own when I chose to leave the nursing home. I chose to leave because I was feeling better. Even though I was in a wheelchair and everything, I just wanted to get home, especially to my son. I had been gone a whole year.
Mm.
And by October, I was decided that I wanted to go. So I had asked the nurse and asked the doctor and all of them. And my brother was like, yeah, that was a good idea. He was like, I know you miss home. I think that you'll get better quicker at home.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere used to.
I
So
love your brother so much.
I know,
yeah,
right?
he was there, y'all. I mean,
He's a
bought
country
food,
brother, different than a
bought,
city brother.
yeah, he bought me food. He said he tried to get on the helicopter with me. They wouldn't let him.
I bet it did.
He just was there. He was there. And
Wow.
that's when I got to the nursing home where he stayed. He came every day, 2
Oh,
days, some days.
oh.
cooked for me. He bought his food up there. Everybody say that about him at the nursing home. They say, "Girl, your brother was a star." And so everybody got to love him, and he talked to everybody. He just so friendly. And so we stayed at the nursing home. He was like, "Yeah, if that's what you want, that's what you need. You need to go home." So I called my husband the first time and told him I decided that I want to come home. He was like, "How you gonna decide that on your own?" He was like, "Who gonna supposed to help you when you get here?" So I was like, "I thought you and my son probably could help me, and I would get, they told me I'll have services like 3 times a week from a physical therapist and a nurse or somebody could come by and see me. On my insurance was gonna pay for that." So I was like, I made sure everything was gonna happen before I come home. And he was like, "Okay, okay then." And so at that time, my brother and sisters there weren't speaking to him, and I didn't know why. They had gave me little bits and pieces, but family is they gonna hold much as they can because they thought that would hinder me from getting well. When I got home, everything had changed. So I was wondering why my sister and them wasn't here, why they weren't coming like they supposed to come. So my sister said she put a different side and she came. And so I was asking my oldest brother because he always don't keep secrets. So I asked him, I said, "What is going on?" So he said, "Start from the beginning." He said, "I'm gonna tell you, he was not there." He said, "We did everything." He said, "I had to take over the doctor papers. I had to do everything." He said, "He was not there." He said, "Even the time when you was in a coma in Tennessee, he was not there." He said, "We was there. Me and your sister there. We took off our jobs. We came. We didn't care. We got fired. You was not waking up, so we wasn't leaving your side." He said, "Nowhere to be found." So I was like, "Oh my God, you serious?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You was nowhere to be found." So I was like, "Oh my God." And when I looked at him different, because I was like, "Why weren't you there?" And he made up all these different excuses about his job and different stuff. And my youngest sister, Lord bless her, she got fired because she wouldn't come back. The doctor, they told her they'd give her a couple of days, but I didn't wake up till like 2 weeks. So she was like, she wasn't leaving me. So she got fired. I felt bad about that, but she told me all that after I got well and everything. Because I was wondering why she wasn't at work in the daytime and she wasn't telling me. And she got fired off her job because she wouldn't leave Tennessee. So they explained to me everything. Then they was like, he was not there. We was there, but he was not there. So I asked him, and he made up all these different excuses. You know how when somebody lying, that they keep making up different excuses. So I made up in my mind then and told him, if you're not there for me, I need a divorce. At that time, I couldn't walk. I didn't do much on my own, but I still know what I needed in order to get well. And looking at him every day was not helping me because all I could think about, he was not there. And then it added all up when I called and said I wanted to come home. I understood then why is why want me to come home because he did not want me because I was sick.
Yeah.
So all that was adding up and getting together. And then when he still stayed, he was here and then I found out he was here because his apartment wasn't ready yet. He wasn't here to help me. He was here till his apartment got ready. And once his apartment got ready, he packed his stuff and he left. So I was here with my son that was 14 at the time, my son and me, and that was it. I was on a walker. I could walk around a little bit on the walker, but I didn't have a full mobility. And I was still doing physical therapy and everything. And so my son helped me a lot. And I asked my youngest brother to move in with me. And he did. He moved in. He made my breakfast, made my dinner. He did everything for me. He helped me get up every day to make sure I made a walk because physical therapy said the days that they didn't come, I still had to walk. So I got my walk and everything. He took me different places and helped me through that journey. And I got back walking and everything. So then he left. because me and my son was on the road to getting back together. So me and my son been here since then. And some days, you know how we have bad days. Well, we can't open our medicine, or we can't
Mm-hmm.
do like we supposed to do. My son have been my champion.
That's
He
good.
made the road to be best friend,
Mm.
and I thank God. He
Yes.
went through a terrible time without his mama a whole year.
Yeah.
So he tell me all the time, Mama, I thank you
Mm.
for coming back to me and helping,
Mm.
because he said, you just left me out of spare of the moment. I didn't know what was going on. Nobody
Mm.
told me you was in Tennessee. Nobody told me how sick you was. Nobody communicated with me.
Mm.
And nobody communicated with him because they didn't want to see my,
Protect him.
because they was upset with my husband, but they really forgot about my son in
Mm.
the midst of it.
Mm.
And my family did apologize to my son for not being here for him, because he was like he was by himself.
Neglected.
Nobody was telling him nothing.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why me and him stick together now. Because I had to explain to him, sickness, what
Because
happened, mama got to go away again, and different stuff like that. So he said if I had to explain it to him earlier, but I didn't understand, you have to explain stuff to a child
mm-hmm.
at that, because I wasn't expecting to have to go through all that. So
Exactly.
now
I
understand what, yeah,
communication
now he understand what lupus really is.
Mm-hmm.
So he know the days
Yeah.
that I feel good, and he know the days that I do feel good, so
Mm.
he take the initiative to open your medicine, or to feed you, or to get you what you need
wow.
on days when you don't feel well.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So
And
that's my
um,
most tragedy, trying to get well, walk again, talk again, do everything over again without all the help that I needed, all the assistance I needed.
yeah.
But I grew stronger. My divorce made me stronger. Some
Yes.
it make you weaker, but it made me stronger, because I feel like I took my power back.
Yes, ma'am.
From
Yes, ma'am.
that
And
thought I had
a
the
young man
word.
you've raised, like through your journey and your battle, like what a compassionate human.
Mm-hmm.
And he's able to articulate himself at a level like 10 at such a young age. Most men in
Mm.
their 30s and 40s don't have that level of communication
Yeah.
skill. But I'm very impressed with your son. He
I
deserves
know.
an accolade and an award for being the
It,
best
dude,
ever.
he need a war, because he come for me all the time.
How old is he now,
He's
Yeah.
Tralise?
16 now. 16. Yeah,
16.
yeah.
Oh,
He's
He's a
16 now.
man.
whoa. We
Yeah.
got 2 more years.
One more year of high school. Woo. I'm
One more. He graduated early?
No, he gonna graduate next year. So
Wow.
yeah, he gonna graduate next year. Be 17 when he graduates. So yeah,
Wow.
yes, and I hope,
Congratulations. You did a good job.
yes, that's what everybody keep telling me, and I
Yes.
to me to show him to be compassionate.
Yes.
What woman you get with, if she ill, you have to stick with her.
Yes. You teaching him value.
Yes, I'm teaching him that we have been through so much, and he understand now. He
Mm-hmm.
told me the other day, I even understand why you sing all the time, why you come
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
praying and different things. He understand that now, because
Yeah.
so the battle is not ours; it's still ours.
Yes. Yes.
wow.
See, you didn't just go through for yourself.
No, I didn't. I went through
Created
for
a
my
whole new
family.
legacy.
Yes.
You reframed that whole situation.
Oh yes, I thank God for that every day. I didn't understand it at the time, but stepping back after 3 years, I understand
Yes.
everything I went through. It was a
Yes. Girl, you making my flesh crawl
And,
yes,
in
and
a good way.
yes, it was
amazing man. You created an amazing human, an amazing,
Mhm.
and I see
Yes.
that in my friend Passion's children too. Like we'll go to the store and she has the walker, and her kids. It teaches you something. Her
It
kids
does.
like come out to the sidewalk, grab her walker, get it out of my
yes,
trunk,
God,
help her with her ankle. So she's going through something similar, and we're going to be talking about it in the next several weeks. But she's long-term prednisone user as well.
yes,
she needs hip replacements right now, and it's
Wow.
Oh,
painful things because obviously it affects your feet, it affects your knees, it
it
affects your
the whole
mobility.
body. Yep. Your
But
back.
what amazing young men you guys are raising throughout this battle with lupus as they're able to learn compassion and be
Yeah.
the men and the caregivers that a man truly needs to be.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
him that. He understand that now.
yeah. You can't
So
lead a family if you can't love a family, right?
Thank you.
yeah.
You're
You
right.
got to be able to love them through some stuff in order to be
Also.
expect to be led.
Yeah.
Just
Things gonna come up. I don't care
yeah,
what marriage you in. Things gonna come up. So
Yeah.
I could not repair him for that because I didn't know I was gonna go through that myself.
exactly.
So that was the guilt trip that he tried to give me. You didn't tell me this, you didn't tell me this. If I explained to you I had lupus, most time now you can go and do your own research. So that was his guilt trip to telling me
Um,
he didn't know all that was gonna happen. He didn't know lupus involved all it. But
I'm glad
yeah,
you did now.
yeah. Yes. So
So
that's what
so many people are watching your story today throughout YouTube, Twitter, and so many warriors are going through similar journeys and battles. Although lupus is just such a fingerprint condition where everybody is just so different. Every butterfly
Mhm.
rash,
yes.
every single organ that's affected. But at the end of the day, like warriors that are watching you on YouTube and maybe they've just gotten diagnosed and maybe they're really in a hard place or maybe they're just barely realizing what it can be. What would be something that you wish you had known when you first got diagnosed with lupus before your battle?
I I wish I had a known more people with lupus. I
Yeah.
wish that would have helped me so much to have somebody that died that was trying to educate me on lupus because the doctor just gave me a pamphlet. That was it.
Mm,
He explained little stuff, but a pamphlet that did not
really?
of nothing
Well,
what I went through with lupus.
their expertise and their studies is like a pamphlet.
Thank you, a pamphlet. That did not tell me that one day I was gonna get out the bed and couldn't I was gonna be still
Good walk.
go to the bathroom at in the 12th grade. It didn't tell me that all my skin was gonna be black in the 12th grade. It didn't tell me my joints weren't gonna move. The pamphlet didn't help me.
Uh-uh.
She was helping me, telling me different stuff, and then she up and passed. So I wish that I had a group like this at the time that I
Mhm.
got lupus for actual people to tell me what I was gonna go through
Yeah.
and to tell the story about your husband, to tell them that you might go through pain with him also because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I deal with illness. So to tell them the points and different points that you still do not give up.
Yeah.
You still got friends. And by
Yeah.
doing this, Miss Felicia, that helps a lot of people to understand that we still have somebody out there.
Yeah.
It's a support system, y'all. Not just, it doesn't just fall on one person. When we're
Mhm.
diagnosed, it's everybody
Right.
comes together, to help.
And that,
Everybody that love us anyway.
yes, love you anyway. That's the
Yeah.
most positive thing you can say.
And
Love you anyway.
like no matter what love we lose in a lifetime,
Mhm.
love is all around you and love is within you.
Yeah.
Mm,
So no matter what, you're always going to find love around every corner, whether it's through a
right.
child or, someone that was nice to you when you went to go get your coffee in the morning and they just said something extra nice to you.
Yes.
Love is all around you. It's in the trees, it's in the branches, it's within your heart, and it's within the work that we're doing today. And it doesn't
Yes.
be through a
Yeah.
love, traditional love. And as we've talked about in the last few weeks, even when you're with someone, sometimes you still feel lonely.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I have witnessed that. You still
Yeah.
feel
So
Yes.
such a warrior and like learning to walk again, writing a book, everything that you've been through. For other warriors out there that are listening, what would you tell warriors on their tough days to just kind of keep in mind or give them a little bit of hope?
uh what I do is do some happy with yourself. It don't have to be with people. I have learned that on my worst days to get up and go have a cup of coffee by yourself. Go and get in your car. My car is my best friend. I know my friends think I'm crazy, but I get in my car, I turn on my gospel, and I listen, and I just have a good time.
Okay, so this is totally off track, but this is the question that I ask the kids in my youth group. So I go do a kids youth group, and I'm a camp counselor for multiple charities, but it's grades 1 through 5, and I feel like the most telling question that you could ask a kid, and I ask them every week, is what was your most favorite food that you ate this week? I'm gonna ask both that question because it's one of my favorite questions. Favorite food you ate this whole week?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, lactose intolerant, so I can never get down with the ice cream.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I do me some ice cream and Oreos, crunch them up. That'd be my favorite thing.
Oh, cheese and cream. What about you, Shantae? What's your favorite comfort food?
My favorite comfort food. Girl, it's so much I can't really.
Well, you have so many options. You fry pickles. You make like all these.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That was for the holiday. I'm not supposed to be eating that stuff all the time. But I tend to gravitate to two things, to like my celebration type of snacks.
Yeah.
Which is this plant-based ice cream that I love. It's like strawberries on top of strawberries on top of strawberries.
Oh.
Without the dairy. So it's like eating ice cream without all the pain and bloating afterwards.
Oh my goodness.
That's my favorite. It's hot, but it's my favorite.
That's what I said. I went to the grocery store to try to start buying stuff that's better, and that stuff is very expensive.
It is, but you can learn how to make it from scratch, and you can learn how to make some of the same stuff you eat, you know, with the plant-based meat, and eat some of the same stuff, but just change it up to where it's just more healthy. You know what I'm saying? You just replace it with the plant-based meat.
So when I first got sick, a nurse contacted me that I used to work with at Public Health and was telling me about the plant-based diet that she had got from Public Health, and she sent it to me. And I did that for like 4 months straight, and I felt so much better.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I felt much better. But I got to start celebrating and eating what I want.
Yeah, look.
And it just got out of hand.
Yeah, you ain't got to do it all the time, but like I don't do plant-based all the time, but I do seafood.
Yeah,
you know, I do seafood when I don't do plant-based, and I might throw some chicken in there every once, you know, probably more than I need to.
Shantae, you need your diet plan because Shantae here.
I need that.
Pounds, and I don't feel like you did it the hard way. I think that you were gentle with yourself. I think you were kind to yourself, and that you just did it slowly but surely, right? And I'm trying my first vegan foods this week, and I'm not a fan, Shantae, so we need your help.
Oh man. See, I had the opposite effect.
So help us out.
They're good for them 4 months.
Girl, I'm telling you to change your life. Even if you fix some pasta and just use gluten-free pasta instead, you're gonna be feeling so much better. I promise.
Restaurants provide gluten-free.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that 150, and I was just about to get the surgery.
What?
Get doctors and everything, and then all of a sudden, God said, "Here, you can see now."
Yeah. Well, I know I ain't surgery no more.
Yeah.
I'm scared I won't wake up again. So.
Oh yeah.
So I got to start eating right, and I'm gonna go. You know, she sent me the article what I did when I first got home, so I'm gonna go research some more and see.
Okay.
I can incorporate that and stuff that you eat. But thank you for letting me know plant-based, but you do, you know, eat a little meat sometimes. So
yeah.
I would go in contrary to what Shantae is saying, because I actually don't like plant-based and I don't like vegan, I would say try both of these different two ideas because we both have
Okay.
ideas. I would say get the hell rid of the dairy and the bread because
There you go.
that causes
Okay.
inflammation.
Woo.
It is fine.
Like the
Make it yummy, marinate it. I feel like it's the freaking bread and it's the dairy
Yeah.
for me.
okay.
It all
That's
costs
how I lost a lot of my weight. I didn't
The
see a lot
dairy.
wrong until I stopped the dairy, the red meat.
red meat. I haven't done that yet. I love my steak.
Yeah, dairy, red meat, and bread. So
No.
now I just do, if I'm eating bread, it's going to be a little of it or it's going to be gluten free.
Okay.
So even if you're eating a hamburger, if it's not gluten free, just take that top bun off.
Okay.
You
And
know,
I
or make your burger salad.
okay. And
Now
then
the burger components would just
So, you guys, in the next month, we are actually going to be having a live chef on Butterfly Tea Time that is going to be
yes.
anti-inflammatory recipes to all of us, and
that's
we're
gonna be
super excited about that because, as you know, when you're inflamed, you're in pain.
hell
So,
yes.
kind of.
Yes.
So we're going to be offering prizes today for joining. Unfortunately, if you don't sign in through StreamYard, we aren't able to actually see who is making the comments. It will just say Facebook user. But everyone is invited to follow our new YouTube channel at Felicia Cassandra on YouTube. And we'll be giving out some free jewelry for Lupus Lemonade Stand, which is Delibra's group. And I'm really, really excited about doing this journey with you guys through, fun tips and anti-inflammatory recipes and just sharing like our hardships and our journey and reading all these comments later. So, Tralise, what is your very favorite form of self-care?
I love to get my hair done, nails done, my massages. I just like to take care of myself.
There you
Well,
go.
take care of myself. The rest of the stuff falling.
Yes. Yes, honey.
Yes.
I love that.
Take care of myself. I feel like you can't be your best person unless you taking care of yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you got to do something for yourself, regardless of how you feel. You'll be amazed at how many people will come to your house when you don't feel well if they know that's something that you like. I done had people come to my house and braid my hair.
Mm.
Nails,
That's how much love I give out, and people gave me love back.
Wow. You
Mhm.
reaped it.
Yes.
Ah,
So I done had people that really reach out to me
That's
and
beautiful.
do a lot. All I
That's
do
beautiful.
is call.
Mm.
They'll do makeup. They'll do anything that I need
See?
to make
See?
myself feel better.
Taken
I
care
love
of.
your makeup and your skincare. That's my favorite self-care is skincare.
Yes.
Remove those
Mm.
skin cells, put some
A product out there because I use that on like little rashes. I told my doctor about it this week.
about the butterfly
Yeah,
nectar.
I had a rash when I went to the rheumatologist this week. Yesterday. So I was showing him the rashes and different stuff, and I was showing him the one that I use your product on and the one that I had. And he was like, "Oh my goodness." He was like, "I was going to prescribe you something because you wrote in the in my inbox that you know how you sent him a portal." So I sent him a portal that I was having rashes. So he sent me a lotion to the pharmacy. But before I can get my lotion, I went on use your product. And your product was smoothing it out. It didn't burn, it didn't itch or nothing. And then when I used his product, I told him, I said, "Yo," I wrote in the report, I said, "Your product burning." And
Ah!
It's wax.
he was like, "Miss Terry, Miss Dennis, you need to just do whatever you feel that's helping you." And I was
See?
like, "You." And I screenshot a picture of that stuff and I gave it to him because he is a good doctor that spread stuff. He would tell
See?
other patients and everything about that.
See? See?
So that's the reason why I showed him the difference that some of this
Mm.
pharmacy did not help lupus patients.
It's
Y'all
too much
send
chemicals in it.
yes, y'all send all that medicine there and it does not help. So I showed him my shoulder with the rashes that I was using that and the shoulder that I didn't. And he agreed with me. He said, continue
Wow.
what you was doing. So
Yeah.
Feed. I know you hear this.
And the reason that I created that skincare is I felt like with my clients, they were getting people from the lupus community were finding me all throughout Las Vegas. Like I had 12 women in a row, like seeking me out, and there was nothing in the beauty industry to put on that. And
it was.
finally found a skin formulator. I just wanted it to be like all anti-inflammatory ingredients like chamomile and cucumber and aloe vera and vitamin E, because I feel like with the ointments, they're waxy. They
Yeah.
hit the skin.
They just
They
just
burned,
sit. They just sit there and just
they was burning me, burning my rashes. And I did not like that.
Yeah. So you guys, this week another woman reached out to me and her skin is hurting so bad, and it's maybe one of the top 3 worst cases that I've seen of the butterfly rash, and she's been using the steroid and the ointment and like literally nothing's helping. The only thing she's even been able to do is put Vaseline on her face. And if you know anything about Vaseline actually
suffocated.
it's the skin. It's not cooling, it traps that heat. It doesn't create a change in the skin. So we're actually getting her sponsored and getting her out a butterfly nectar this week. So we'll be letting you know her results. And I'm hoping for the best. I'm praying that she feels the same results that everyone else has in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank God for the sponsor.
Yes. Because it's working.
We need more sponsors.
Yes, we really do.
Stories like this. We got too many.
Yeah. So thank you to Baxter Con and LA for completely paying for her skincare and I'll be sending that out to her tomorrow. So super excited. People are out to others with the butterfly rash if they can't afford care.
That's beautiful.
That's wonderful.
That's beautiful.
So I definitely recommend everyone to read Tralise's book, and it's an amazing book. It's such a journey. There's so much depth and there's so much wisdom in there and so much heart. So Tralise, where can everyone find your book and Lupus Glitter?
The only place I have it right now is on Amazon.
Okay.
So,
that's good enough.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Go in there and you can type in Tralise Dennis, or you can type in this thing called life.
This thing called life.
Yes, that's what I have shirts and everything with, this thing called life, because that's what I went through. And I want to let people know you can make it. It's not the world.
Good message.
So I tell everybody, lupus don't kill you unless you let it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys, if you want to find butterfly nectar, and if you have anyone that is having issues with the rash, if they are not able to afford the skincare, I will try to find sponsorship for them so that we can get this across the globe to people suffering with the butterfly rash.
Yeah.
Full itching, burning. It's not spoken enough about in the beauty industry, and that's what we're trying to do here today, as well as I'd really, really like you to go to Amazon and check out This Thing Called Life by Tralise Dennis. It's an amazing book. And if you saw my initial YouTube video about me creating my skincare, he asked me what the best book I've read recently was. And I definitely gave it a shout out. Definitely a worthy read, lots of growth and healing and love and all those things that us butterflies need.
Oh,
thank you.
I would like to invite you all to follow us on YouTube at Felicia Cassandra on YouTube, and then also join our groups and get involved with our lupus community at Lupus Glitter, Lupus Lemonade Stand, and Lupus Self Care and Wellness. And thank you so much for joining us, Tralise.
Thank you.
You
had a wonderful,
so beautiful having you, girl.
Thank you so much.
Your stories.
Thank you so much. Y'all are beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will see you guys here next week at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for some more tea every Tuesday. And until next time, fly free.